This audiobook is a portal to an ancient knowing that money is not physical, but energetic. As you listen, you'll feel the truth. Wealth flows not from what you do, but from what you are. Align now and become the living conduit for the abundance that's always been yours. Money is energy. Introduction. In the depths of time, an ancient wisdom has waited patiently, a knowledge so powerful that it transforms not just fortunes, but the very essence of those who grasp it. This text you now hold resonates with the vibrations of countless sages who understood the true nature of abundance. You have been drawn to these teachings not by chance, but by the awakening of an inner knowing. Within you stirs a recognition that money is far more than metal and paper. It is energy incarnate, a flowing river of infinite potential that responds to the frequency of your being through generations. This understanding has been preserved in whispered traditions and sacred scrolls. Now, as you turn these chapters, you join an unbroken lineage of those who have discovered that wealth is not a distant shore to be reached, but an ocean already moving within you. The universe has placed this wisdom in your hands because you are ready to remember what your soul has always known, that abundance is your natural state. Just as a flower needs no instruction to bloom, you need no teaching to prosper, only remembrance of your true nature. In these chapters lies not mere information, but transformation. Each word carries the power to awaken dormant memories of your divine birthright to prosperity. You will discover that money flows not from external effort, but from internal alignment, a harmony with the very forces that create worlds. This is no ordinary book of strategies and techniques. It is a key forged in the fires of eternal truth, capable of unlocking the vast chambers of abundance that exist within your consciousness. As you journey through these teachings, you will shed the heavy garments of lack and limitation, revealing the luminous being of prosperity. You have always been. The ancient ones knew these secrets, the mystics guarded them, and now they call to you, asking not for your belief, but for your remembrance. Part 1. Remembering the Ancient Flow. Chapter 1. The invisible currency. Long ago, in a bustling marketplace, Ellen tended her small shop of herbs and spices. Each morning she counted her meager earnings, believing wealth to be as solid and unchangeable as the copper coins in her palm, until one extraordinary dawn, when an aged traveler appeared at her door. "What do you sell?" Eleanor asked. "Nothing you can touch," the stranger replied, "but everything you can imagine." You see Eleanor's encounter. Mark the moment she glimpsed the eternal truth. Money has no fixed form. Like water, it flows where consciousness directs it. The coins and notes you hold are but vessels for an energy as boundless as the universe itself. This energy responds not to grasping hands, but to resonant hearts. When Eleanor absorbed this wisdom, her small shop transformed, not through any external change, but through her shifted awareness. Where once she saw scarcity, she now recognized the infinite stream of abundance flowing through all things. Her prosperity multiplied, not because she worked harder, but because she finally aligned with wealth's true nature. Consider Harold, who delivered mail along the quiet streets of his town. Each day, he carried letters and packages, whistling tunes that spoke of joy and abundance. Though his salary was modest, he moved through life as if already wealthy. He saw richness in the morning sun, in children's laughter, in the very air he breathed. One day, a letter he delivered contained news of an inheritance he never expected yet. Those who knew Harold remarked that he seemed no different after receiving his fortune, for Harold had long carried wealth in his vibration before it manifested in his bank account. These tales mirror an ageless truth. Abundance flows not from external circumstances, but from internal alignment. Elainer and Harold both discovered that prosperity arrives when we cease viewing it as something to chase and recognize it as something we already are. To embrace this wisdom yourself, practice this sacred visualization. Find stillness in a quiet space. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. See money not as physical currency, but as streams of golden light. Watch as this light flows toward you. Naturally, effortlessly feel yourself opening to receive it, knowing it is simply energy returning to energy. Let your entire being resonate with this frequency of abundance. Hold this vision until you feel the truth of it. In every cell, this practice dissolves the barriers between you and wealth's eternal flow. For when you understand money as energy, you become its natural conductor, allowing abundance to move through you as easily as breath. Chapter 2. The ancient flow of abundance. In the rolling hills, beyond the village, young Clara tended her grandfather's sheep, carrying the wisdom of generations in her heart. One scorching summer day, she discovered an ancient stone well, its depths holding secrets older than time itself. As she peered into its crystalline waters, she noticed something extraordinary. The well's flow changed with her thoughts. When her heart sang with gratitude, the water surged forth in abundance. When fear crept into her mind, the flow diminished to a trickle through this sacred well. You too shall understand the eternal truth. Abundance flows not from a finite source, but from an infinite stream. Life's riches pour forth endlessly, like a mighty river that never ceases. Yet, you must align yourself with this flow, for abundance responds to your inner state. When you approach life with an open heart, believing in the endless nature of prosperity, the universe mirrors your expectation. But when you clutch at wealth with desperate hands, you create resistance in the very channel through which it flows. Walter, a merchant in the valley below, learned this truth through bitter experience. Each night, he counted his coins obsessively, building walls around his wealth, trying to direct and control its movement. The more he grasped the more his prosperity seemed to slip through his fingers, like water through clenched fists. Only when illness forced him to release his iron grip did Walter discover the paradox of abundance. As he lay in his bed, too weak to count or control his business, flourished under the care of those he had trusted. In surrendering control, he had unknowingly opened the floodgates of prosperity. These tales mirror the twin forces within you: the ability to allow or restrict the flow of abundance. Like Clara, you can learn to dance with the rhythm of prosperity, understanding that your relationship with wealth shapes its flow. Like Walter, you may discover that releasing control actually increases your abundance. In each story lies a reflection of the universal truth that has guided seekers throughout the ages. Abundance flows most freely when we align with its natural movement, rather than trying to force its direction. Your journey toward prosperity begins with this profound understanding that you are not meant to chase wealth, but to become a channel through which it naturally flows. Now close your eyes and envision yourself beside a flowing stream. With each breath, watch as golden light mingles with the water's flow. As you inhale, feel any resistance to dissolve. As you exhale, see your financial energy moving as freely as the water before you. Let each breath deepen your trust in the infinite stream of abundance that flows through all things. Chapter 3. The Magnetic Mind. In a sunlit apartment overlooking the city park, Dorothy sat at her piano each morning, her fingers no longer dancing across the keys as they once did. Yet she had discovered a new kind of music, the melody of prosperity, flowing through her words. Each day at dawn, she would speak her truth into existence. I am a magnet for abundance. Wealth flows to me naturally and easily. I deserve prosperity in all its forms. At first, these declarations felt foreign on her tongue, like sheet music. She couldn't quite read, but as days turned to weeks, something shifted. Her words carried the same conviction that once powered her concerts, and just as music fills an empty hall, her affirmed abundance begins filling her life. You too possess this power of magnetic attraction. Your mind broadcasts a frequency into the universe every moment of every day. These transmissions, your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs about money, create a field of energy that either attracts or repels prosperity. This is the law of mental magnetism, as ancient as the stars, yet as present as your next breath. When you dwell upon lack, you emanate the frequency of scarcity. When you focus on abundance with unwavering faith, you broadcast the signal of prosperity. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, responds not to your words alone, but to the feeling tone behind them. Eugene, a shopkeeper in the market district, unknowingly demonstrated this principle. His mind constantly churned with worried thoughts. There's never enough business. Is always slow. I can't afford to expand. These mental broad See, manifested precisely what he feared: dwindling customers, mounting bills, missed opportunities. One day, a wise friend suggested he change his inner dialogue. Though skeptical, Eugene began speaking to himself differently. My shop attracts perfect customers. Money flows to me through expected and unexpected channels. I am worthy of success. Gradually, his energy shifted. Opportunities appeared. A prime location became available at half the usual rent. A wealthy investor discovered his unique products. Loyal customers spread word of his service. Eugene had not changed his actions, but by altering his magnetic field, he drew success naturally to his door. Your own magnetic field operates in the same way, pulsing with the energy of your innermost beliefs and expectations. Every thought about money carries a charge. Every feeling creates a ripple in the universal field, sending waves of attraction or resistance into the infinite. You are not merely thinking about prosperity. You are broadcasting your relationship with it to the cosmos, painting your financial future with the colors of your consciousness. Like a beacon in the night, your energy signature draws to you experiences that match your deepest convictions about wealth and abundance. Now take 3 fresh sheets of paper. On each, write an affirmation that resonates with your highest vision of prosperity. Speak these words aloud while visualizing golden waves of light radiating from your heart, carrying your declaration to the far corners of the universe. Let your voice carry the same conviction that Dorothy found at her morning practice, the same certainty that transformed Eugene's reality. Chapter 4: The Spell of Scarcity. In a small workshop at the edge of town, Frank bent over his workbench, his skilled hands crafting leather into beautiful shoes. Yet despite his mastery, customers grew scarce. Each evening, he would whisper the same words his father once spoke. Nothing comes easy in this life. You must suffer to earn your keep. These words, passed down through generations, had woven themselves into the fabric of his being. You see, the beliefs you carry about money are not always your own. Like ancient heirlooms, they are handed down, father to son, mother to daughter, each generation unknowingly accepting the weight of their ancestors' fears. The universe knows no scarcity. Looks at the endless stars above, the countless grains of sand below. Abundance flows eternally. Yet human consciousness has been clouded by collective stories of lack. These are not truths. They are spells cast long ago by those who themselves were caught in the illusion of limitation. Your inherited beliefs about money form invisible chains, binding you to patterns that do not serve your highest good. Perhaps you learned that wealth only comes through struggle. that money is the root of evil, or that you must choose between spiritual richness and material abundance. These are not your truths. They are borrowed burdens. Ruth, a weaver in the valley, lived under similar shadows. Her family had always warned people like us, don't get ahead. Be grateful for what little you have. But one autumn morning, as she watched leaves dance freely in the wind, something awakened within her. She realized these limiting thoughts were not her own. They were echoes from a fearful past. With determination, Ruth began unraveling these inherited patterns. She stopped repeating her family's mantras of lack. She released the belief that struggle was noble. As these old energies dissolved, unexpected doors opened. A merchant discovered her unique designs. A wealthy patron commissioned special pieces. Her work began appearing in distant markets. The truth stands clear. Scarcity is not your natural state. It is a borrowed garment worn so long, you've forgotten it isn't your own. Now is the time to return what was never truly yours. Like a butterfly emerging from its chrysalis, you must shed these false limitations that have bound you. The universe flows with infinite abundance, and you are its direct expression in releasing these inherited patterns of lack. You align with the natural order of prosperity that has always been your divine birthright. Practice. Take your journal and write down the 5 strongest scarcity beliefs that echo through your family line. Close your eyes and envision each belief as a dark thread. See yourself gathering these threads, one by one, in your mind's eye. Watch as divine fire transmutes them into golden light. Feel the ancestral weight lifting as each limiting belief dissolves into pure potential. Chapter 5. The shadow of gold in a small schoolhouse painted the color of dawn. Marvin taught his students with boundless enthusiasm. His desk drawers overflowed with thoughtful gifts from grateful parents, untouched, unopened, each one politely declined. Your child's growth is all the reward I need, he would say, believing his virtue lay in giving without receiving. You too may recognize this pattern within yourself, the discomfort that arises when abundance flows toward you. This resistance to receiving is not nobility. It is an ancient wound masquerading as virtue. Each time you deflect a blessing, you interrupt the sacred cycle of energy that sustains all life. The universe operates through continuous exchange. Watch how the earth receives the rain, then gives forth fruit. Observe how the flowers accept sunlight, then offer their nectar to bees. In this divine dance, receiving is as holy as giving, yet many souls carry hidden shame around accepting abundance, as if their worthiness must first be earned. One night, Marvin dreamed of a garden where flowers refused to open their petals to the sun. They withered not from lack of light, but from their refusal to receive it. Upon waking, he understood his resistance to receiving was not humility, but fear dressed in noble clothes. In the merchant district, Edith's shop prospered beyond measure, yet each success brought waves of guilt, each profit a weight upon her spirit. Who am I to have so much? She would whisper, shrinking from her abundance as if it were a sin, until one morning, while counting her coins, she saw how her shame dishonored the very force that sought to bless her. Your resistance to receiving carries ancient echoes, perhaps, of times when abundance brought danger, when standing in your power drew unwanted attention. But those times have passed. The universe yearns to flow through you, to express its limitless nature through your prosperity. When you block receiving, you deny not just yourself, but the grand orchestration of give and take that sustains all creation. Your abundance is not separate from the universal flow. It is essential to it, like a river that must both receive from its source and give to the sea. You are a vital channel in this divine exchange. By resisting abundance, You create a dam in the cosmic current, holding back not only your own prosperity, but also the gifts you're meant to share with others. The universe seeks a perfect balance through you, and your willingness to receive becomes the very foundation of your capacity to give. Practice stand before a mirror. In the sacred quiet of dawn or dusk, place your hand upon your heart and meet your own gaze with tenderness. Speak these words with the authority of your soul. It is safe to receive. I am worthy now. Let each word dissolve the ancient barriers to receiving. Feel the truth of your worthiness echo through every cell of your being. Chapter 6. The Sacred Law of Exchange. In a village among rolling hills, Raymond's forge burned day and night. The ring of his hammer echoed through the streets as he crafted tools and implements each stroke, adding to his growing wealth. Yet as his coffers filled his spirit, emptied, the coins lay cold in his chest, refusing to warm his heart. The law of circulation governs all energy in the universe. Like water, wealth must flow to remain pure. When you dam its movement through fear of loss, you create the very scarcity you seek. To avoid money in its highest form is love made visible, a medium through which the divine expresses its infinite abundance. Watch how nature demonstrates this truth. Trees release their leaves without hesitation, knowing spring will bring new growth. Rivers give themselves completely to the ocean, trusting that they will be replenished by rain. This is the way of universal law. What flows out must flow back. Multiplied. One morning, Raymond began giving freely, mending tools without charge, teaching his craft to village youth, sharing his knowledge without reservation. As his grip on wealth loosened, a curious thing occurred. New customers appeared, bearing greater opportunities. His reputation spread beyond the village, drawing nobles who paid handsomely for his artistry. In a distant town lived Lillian, recently widowed and down to her last provisions, when a hungry traveler knocked at her door. She hesitated only a moment before sharing her final loaf of bread. The universe provides, she whispered, placing trust above fear. That very evening, a messenger arrived with news of an inheritance from a distant relative. She had never met. These stories mirror and an eternal truth. Giving and receiving are not opposite actions, but different expressions of the same force. Like breathing in and breathing out, they form a single movement of life. When you give with joy, you align with the natural law of increase. Your generosity becomes a declaration to the universe. I trust in the endless flow of abundance. This sacred cycle has guided the wise throughout centuries, teaching that true wealth flows not from hoarding, but from participating in life's grand exchange. Just as a flower must open to receive sunlight and release its fragrance, your heart must remain open to both give and receive. Each act of genuine giving creates a ripple in the cosmic fabric, returning multiplied blessings through unexpected channels. The universe recognizes and responds to this profound trust, orchestrating circumstances that reflect back the abundance you have shown. Practice. Select one meaningful act of giving today. It may be your time, your resources, or your energy. Offer it freely without attachment to outcome or recognition. Feel the joy of releasing rather than the fear of losing. In this sacred act of circulation, you become a conscious participant in the universe's endless dance of giving and receiving. Chapter 7. Money is a mirror, not a master. In a bustling market square, Beatrix sat at her wooden table, needle dancing through fine fabrics, as she watched wealthy merchants pass. With each silk-clad figure, her lips would curl slightly, her thoughts bitter with judgment they hoard. While others starve, she would whisper, never noticing how her own purse grew lighter with each harsh thought. You must understand this eternal truth. Money is not a master but a mirror. It reflects with perfect accuracy the images you hold within. When you judge wealth, you judge yourself. When you resent abundance in others, you command it to stay away from your door. The universe operates through resonance, not resistance. Your relationship with money echoes your relationship with yourself. Each coin, each transaction, each exchange carries the imprint of your deepest beliefs about your worth, your power, and your right to prosper in the quiet hours before dawn. George would pace his small room, cursing money for his troubles. If only I had more, he would lament. Everything would be different. Yet something shifted when he found an old journal, recording years of his thoughts about wealth there in his own hand. He saw the truth. His words had woven a web of blame, in him. In scarcity, the moment he recognized money as a reflection rather than an enemy, his circumstances began to transform. Your money story mirrors your inner story, reflecting back the deepest truths you hold about yourself. When you heal your relationship with yourself, your doubts, your fears, your ancient wounds, you simultaneously heal your relationship with abundance. The walls that once blocked your prosperity begin to crumble, revealing the natural flow of wealth that was always meant to be yours. The judgment you release in others returns to you as acceptance, creating ripples of grace that transform your financial reality. The love you extend to wealth extends back to you, as prosperity for the universe cannot help but match the vibration you offer in this sacred dance between your inner and outer worlds. Every shift in consciousness creates a corresponding shift in circumstances. Practice. Take a quiet moment with pen and paper. Write a letter to money, as you would to someone you've misunderstood. Pour out your frustrations, your fears, your accusations. Then, with gentle awareness, write a second letter. This time, speak to money as a faithful friend, a divine messenger, showing you where healing awaits. Let your word bridge the gap between judgment and understanding, between resistance and flow. See how your relationship with money transforms when you approach it, not as an adversary to be conquered, but as a mirror reflecting your path to wholeness. For in truth, it has always been waiting to show you the way home to yourself. Chapter 8. Desire is a divine compass. In a small cottage at the edge of a bustling town, Agnes knelt by her window each morning, watching the sun rise as her 6 children slept. In these quiet moments, her heart would whisper of abundance, of ease, of a life where she could give her children everything they dreamed. Yet each time these visions arose, she would push them away, calling them selfish thoughts, unworthy of a mother's devotion. You have been taught that desire is the root of suffering, that wanting more is a sign of discontent. This teaching, ancient as it may be, carries only half the truth. Your desires are not random impulses or selfish whims. They are sacred messages from the universe itself, calling you toward your highest expression. When you feel the pull toward greater abundance, you are receiving divine instruction. The universe speaks through your deepest longings, using them as compass points to guide you toward your true purpose. To suppress these desires is to silence the voice of spirit within you. Pearl. A humble gardener felt a persistent urge to learn about healing herbs, though he dismissed it as impractical. The desire wouldn't fade. One day he finally surrendered to this inner calling. Following this simple impulse led him to discover ancient medicinal knowledge, eventually establishing a healing center that served thousands and brought him unprecedented prosperity. Your desires are not accidents. They are precisely planted seeds of potential waiting to bloom into your destiny. When you honor them, you align with the universe's plan for your expansion. Each time you acknowledge your longing for more, you attune to the frequency of abundance that seeks to express through you. The desire for wealth is not separate from your spiritual path. It is an integral part of it. For in pursuing your true desires, you unlock the gifts you were meant to share with the world. Your abundance becomes a channel through which divine energy flows to bless others. When you embrace prosperity consciousness, you align with the infinite abundance of the universe itself. Each coin that passes through your hands carries the potential for blessing. Each investment becomes an act of faith in the divine order of things. As you expand your capacity to receive, you simultaneously expand your ability to give, creating an endless cycle of spiritual and material prosperity that uplifts all who cross your path. Practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and place your hand on your heart. Allow yourself to feel your deepest desire for abundance, letting it rise without judgment or shame. Breathe into this longing and speak these words with reverence. This longing is sacred. I honor it fully. Chapter 9. The Wealth Frequency in a Dimly Lit Dance Studio. Joan moved with grace. Despite her aging joints, though her professional dancing days were long past, she continued her morning ritual, not for money or acclaim, but for the pure joy of movement. As she twirled, something remarkable began to unfold. Students appeared seeking her guidance. Invitations to teach arrived unexpectedly without striving or struggling. Abundance began flowing into her life, drawn by the magnetic power of her authentic joy within you. Lies a frequency more powerful than any strategy or plan. The universe responds not to your actions, but to your vibration. When you emanate joy, gratitude, and peace, you speak in wealth's native tongue. These emotions are the keys that unlock the vault of universal abundance. Most spend their lives trying to earn money through force, missing the simple truth. Wealth is attracted, not acquired. Your emotional state creates an energy field that either welcomes or repels abundance. Joy is not the result of having money. It is the magnet that draws it to you. You need not wait for external circumstances to change before allowing yourself to feel wealthy. The sequence is quite the opposite. Embody the feeling first, and watch as reality reshapes itself to match your inner state. Stanley, a shopkeeper, had always viewed his small store as a burden. Each day was a struggle against scarcity, until a wise friend shared a simple truth: feel better first. Though skeptical, Stanley began practicing gratitude for what he had. He started greeting customers with genuine warmth, finding moments of delight in simple tasks. Within months, his store transformed. New opportunities appeared, customers multiplied, and prosperity flowed effortlessly, all because he had shifted his emotional frequency. These stories mirror a universal principle. Your emotional state is the blueprint for your material reality. When you vibrate at the frequency of abundance, through joy, appreciation, and peace, the physical world must reorganize itself to match your inner experience, like a magnet drawing forth its corresponding elements. Your dominant feelings attract their physical equivalents. This is not mere coincidence, but rather the operation of an ancient and immutable law. Those who have mastered this truth throughout history understood that their inner world was the sacred temple where all external manifestations were first conceived. By maintaining states of genuine gratitude and serene confidence, they activated forces far greater than the mere mechanics of daily effort. Practice to spend 5 minutes embodying joy. Today, dance, smile, or laugh, and say, this feeling is my new frequency. Chapter 10. Slaying the Final Shadow of Lack. In a quiet corner of the town library, Norma sat with trembling hands, reading the letter again. The grant she had dreamed of, $50,000, to create a children's literacy program, was now hers, yet instead of joy, waves of panic washed over her. There must be some mistake, she whispered, already composing a letter to decline the offer. In the following weeks, She found countless reasons why she wasn't qualified, missing deadlines and creating complications until the opportunity slipped away. You stand now at the threshold of your greatest expansion. The universe has heard your call and aligned all forces to answer. But will you allow yourself to receive this resistance you feel when abundance approaches is not a sign to retreat? It is the final guardian at the gate of your transformation. Your fear of success speaks in many voices. I'm not ready. I don't deserve this. What if I fail? Each whisper is a test, asking if you will claim your power or shrink from it. But know this truth. These doubts are not yours. They are echoes of old stories waiting to be released in a distant village. Lived Samuel, a gifted healer who turned away those seeking his help, believing himself unworthy of payment. Each night he dreamed of helping others, yet each day he found reasons why he couldn't begin. Until one morning, standing before his reflection, he spoke words that changed everything. I am worthy of this gift. I trust myself to use it wisely. From that day forward, opportunities he had been blind to suddenly appeared before him, as if they had been waiting all along for his permission to arrive. Like Samuel, you have been given gifts that seek expression through you. These talents stir within longing to emerge into the light of day. Your doubt is not protecting you. It is preventing the world from receiving what only you can offer. The divine spark within you yearns to shine forth, yet hesitation dims its glow. The opportunities you desire are not testing your qualifications. They are inviting you to rise into your true power. They appear before you as faithful mirrors, reflecting back the greatness that has always resided in your soul, waiting for the moment when you finally recognize your own worth. The practice that stand before a mirror. Now look deeply into your own eyes. See past the doubt, past the hesitation, into the truth of who you are. Then speak these words with the authority of your soul. I am ready now. I trust myself to receive Part 2, Dancing with the Divine Stream. Chapter 11. The Money Alchemist Within. In the fertile valleys beyond the city walls, Clyde stood among his withered crops, his life savings seemingly lost to an unexpected frost. Where others saw a devastation, something stirred within him, a knowing that transcended the visible world. Instead of surrendering to despair, he sat in silence, listening to an inner voice that guided him to plant unusual herbs in the frost-damaged soil. These herbs, thriving in the cold, became sought after by healers across the land, bringing him wealth beyond what his original crops would have yielded. You too possess this power of transmutation. Every circumstance that appears as loss carries within it the seed of greater abundance, if you know how to transform its energy. This is the ancient art of spiritual alchemy, known to mystics throughout the ages. Just as base metals were said to transform into gold, your consciousness holds the power to transmute any financial situation from lack into abundance. The key lies not in fighting against what is, but in shifting your energy to align with what could be when you face a seeming loss. Remember, you are not merely a witness to circumstances. You are the alchemist of your reality. Through your focused intention and elevated emotion, lead becomes gold, defeat becomes opportunity, and scarcity transforms into abundance. In a distant marketplace, Elaine discovered this truth each morning. She told herself the same story. Business is hard. Customers are scarce. Profits are thin. But one day she began speaking a new truth. I am the source of infinite value, and abundance flows through me naturally. As her inner narrative shifted, so did her outer world. New opportunities emerged. Customers multiplied and wealth flowed, as if by magic. Yet it wasn't magic, but alchemy. Your financial reality is not fixed. It is fluid, responsive to the energy you emit. Like Clyde and Elaine, you hold the philosopher's stone within your consciousness. Every thought, every emotion, every belief is raw, material waiting to be transformed. The ancient alchemists understood this profound truth, that the power of transmutation lies not in physical elements, but in the sacred laboratory of your mind. When you shift your inner world, your belief is about money, success and abundance. The outer world must, by universal law, reshape itself to mirror your transformed consciousness. This is the deeper meaning of spiritual alchemy, the art of transforming leaden thoughts into golden manifestations. The practice: take your journal and write down one area where money feels stagnant or challenging. Now close your eyes and see this situation as pure energy, ready to be transmuted. Write a new version of this story as if the transformation has already occurred. Feel the truth of this new reality in your body. Let your words carry the vibration of completion. For in spiritual alchemy, feeling is the fire that transforms all things. Chapter 12. Emotion is currency. In a small village among rolling hills, Gilbert tended his garden alone, the emptiness of his house echoing the void in his heart. Since losing his beloved wife, he had closed himself off from life's abundance, letting bitterness take root. Where love once bloomed, yet an autumn morning, as golden leaves danced on the wind, he found himself unexpectedly moved by their beauty. For the first time in years, he whispered, "Thank you." This simple act of gratitude, like a key turning in a rusty lock, began to open channels long sealed by grief. You stand now at the threshold of understanding a truth known to the wisest of ancients. Emotion is the currency of the universe. Your feelings are not mere responses to life. They are the very substance from which your reality is shaped. When you master your emotional state, you master the flow of abundance itself. Consider how water moves through a river. It follows the path of least resistance, flowing naturally. Where channels are open similarly, abundance flows most readily through hearts opened by gratitude, joy, and appreciation. Your emotional state creates the channel through which universal energy moves in the marketplace. Of another time, Opal sat at her simple sewing table, humming as she worked. Though her circumstances were modest, joy radiated from her, being like warmth from a hearth. Soon townspeople began lingering near her shop, drawn not just by her skillful needlework, but by the light that seemed to emanate from within her. Without seeking it, she found herself receiving more orders than she could handle, with neighbors offering to help, simply to remain in her uplifting presence. These tales mirror a profound truth. Your emotional wealth precedes your material wealth. When you cultivate states of joy, appreciation, and inner peace, you become a natural attractor for abundance. Like Gilbert, your gratitude can unlock doors long thought sealed. Like Opal, your joy becomes a beacon that draws abundance to you effortlessly. The universe responds not to your wishes alone, but to the vibrational essence you emit through your emotional state. Those who understand this sacred principle know that true prosperity begins within, in the quiet chambers of your heart, where gratitude blooms and contentment takes root. When you nurture these inner gardens of positive emotion, you create an irresistible force that naturally draws forth the bounty of life, just as surely as spring sunshine calls forth flowers from the earth. Practice the emotional balance sheet. Each evening, take a moment to record your emotional transactions of the day. On one side, list your emotional deposits, moments of joy, gratitude, peace, and excitement. On the other, note your emotional withdrawals, instances of fear, worry, anger, or doubt. This sacred practice reveals how you are investing your most precious currency, your feelings. Through this awareness, you begin to consciously choose the emotional vibrations that attract abundance. Chapter 13. Attuning your spirit to the frequency of gold. In the dimly lit corners of a small jazz club, Leonard's fingers danced across piano keys, each note carrying the weight of his worry. Night after night, he played mechanically, his mind fixed on paying rent and surviving another month. The music was technically perfect, yet something vital was missing. Until one evening, everything changed. You see, Leonard discovered a truth that would transform not just his music, but his entire relationship with abundance. As he sat at the piano, that pivotal night, he made a conscious choice to play, not from fear but from pure love. The shift was subtle yet profound. His music began to soar, touching something deep within his listeners. Soon opportunities flowed: private concerts, recording sessions, unexpected gifts. The universe responded to his new vibration with matching abundance. This reveals an eternal principle. Your energetic frequency must align with what you wish to receive, just as a radio must be precisely tuned to receive a specific station. Your being must be calibrated to the frequency of abundance. Each morning presents an opportunity to tune your instrument, your consciousness to prosperity song. Think of your emotional state as music. Are you playing notes of lack and limitation, or are you creating harmonies of abundance and possibility? The universe responds not to what you want, but to the song you're currently playing in a quiet neighborhood across town. Doris embarked on an experiment that would reshape her reality for 30 days. She chose to embody wealth, consciousness in every action. She walked differently, spoke differently, made decisions as if abundance was already her truth. She didn't pretend, she became. Each morning she dressed with care regardless of her clothes. Cost, she treated herself with the dignity of someone who knew their worth. She spoke of money with reverence and ease. By day 30, her world had shifted. An unexpected promotion arrived, old debts were suddenly forgiven. Opportunities appeared as if by magic. Yet the real transformation was internal. She had turned herself to wealth's frequency. Your daily vibration is your point of attraction. Like Leonard at his piano and Doris in her experiment meant, you must consciously choose your energetic tune. Wealth flows, not to those who chase it, but to those who match its frequency through your thoughts, emotions, and actions. You broadcast a signal into the universe, one that either harmonizes with abundance or creates discord with it. When you align yourself with the vibration of prosperity, you become like a beacon drawing wealth toward you naturally, effortlessly. This is not mere wishful thinking, but a fundamental law, as reliable as gravity itself. The universe responds not to what you want, but to what you are. Practice the wealth frequency routine. Begin each day by standing tall, breathing deeply, and moving your body with grace for 5 minutes. This aligns your physical energy with abundance. At midday, spend 3 minutes writing gratitude notes for the wealth already present in your life, however small. Before sleep, visualize yourself as a brilliant light, radiating prosperity's frequency into the world. Feel the warmth of abundance flowing through you. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14 in the Divine Circulation Principle. In a modest apartment overlooking the city streets, Arthur sat surrounded by stacks of carefully organized bills and receipts. Each morning, he would count his savings obsessively, gripping tighter as the numbers dwindled. The layoff from the newspaper had wounded more than his income. It had shattered his trust in life's flow. You see, money operates by the same principle. As breath, it must move to sustain life. When you hold your breath too long, your body protests. Similarly, when you clutch wealth too tightly, you restrict its natural circulation. This universal law reveals itself in every aspect of nature. Rivers flow, blood circulates, planets orbit. Nothing in creation is meant to remain static. Arthur's transformation began when his sister fell ill. Despite his fear, he used his savings to help with her medical bills. This act of giving, though initially terrifying, created an opening within weeks. A former colleague offered him freelance work that paid more than his previous position. The universe responded to his trust with greater abundance money. In its purest essence is energy-seeking movement. When you allow it to flow through you, giving with faith and receiving with grace, you become a channel for its expansion. Your role is not to trap or control this energy, but to participate in its natural circulation. In a small town, not far from there, Jeanette received a housewarming gift, a beautiful antique vase. Instead of keeping it, she felt moved to give it to her elderly neighbor, whose own vase had recently broken. This simple act set in motion a chain of generosity. The neighbor, touched by the gesture, shared her prized family recipes with Jeanette, which eventually inspired Jeanette to start a successful catering business. These stories mirror an ageless truth. Wealth multiplies through movement. Each time you release your grip on money, with trust you create space for new abundance to enter. Each time you give from a place of faith, rather than fear, you strengthen your connection to the infinite supply. Practice select one financial gesture today that symbolizes your trust in abundance. Perhaps share a meal, contribute to a cause you believe in, or invest in someone's dream. Perform this act with complete presence, knowing that what flows from you creates space for greater return. As you give, feel the energy of circulation moving through you, connecting you to the endless stream of abundance. Chapter 15. Planting gold in the garden of the universe. In the heart of a small village, Sylvia attended her flower shop with the same care she gave to her secret practice each morning. Before dawn, she would sit at her wooden table, light a single candle, and open an aged leather notebook. Within its chapters, she wrote her intentions with the precision of a master gardener planting seeds. You must understand that intention is not mere wishing. It is the first movement of creation in the spiritual realm, just as a flower begins as an invisible essing within a seed. All manifestation starts with clear, focused intention. When you plant your desires with reverence, the universe conspires to bring them forth. Sylvia wrote of expanded gardens, of teaching children about flowers, of bringing beauty to more homes. One by one, these intentions sprouted into reality. A neighboring shop closed, offering space for her garden. A school requested weekly classes. Her reputation for artistry spread beyond the village. The power lies not in the writing itself, but in the energy with which you infuse your words. Each intention is a sacred agreement between you and the infinite. When you declare your desires with clarity and calm certainty, you activate the law of manifestation. Yet contrast appeared through Gerald, who owned the local barber shop. His mind scattered like leaves in autumn wind. His desires shifting daily. More customers, he would think, one day, or perhaps a new location, or maybe a different business entirely. This unclear intention created equally unclear results. His circumstances became as chaotic as his thoughts. Through Gerald's experience, you glimpse an essential truth. The universe responds not to your words, but to your clarity. Without clear intention, energy disperses rather than concentrates like light through a magnifying glass. Focused intention holds the power to ignite a manifestation. When your thoughts scatter in multiple directions, they create ripples of confusion in the cosmic waters. But when you gather your desires into a single unwavering beam of intention, you align with the creative force that shapes reality itself. The ancient masters understood this principle. They knew that power lies not in the quantity of wishes, but in the crystalline purity of a single well-formed thought. Practice begin your garden of gold. Journal today. Choose a notebook that feels sacred to you, one that calls to your spirit and awakens something within. Let this journal become your sanctuary of clear intention, where each desire you plant will be nurtured with focused attention and unwavering belief. Just as a gardener tends their plot with daily care, you shall cultivate your manifestations in these chapters with patience and devotion. When you write in it, do so with the reverence of one inscribing ancient wisdom, for indeed you are recording the blueprint of your future abundance. Chapter 16. Money Loves Purpose in a Sunlit Garden. Lena sat beneath an ancient oak tree, sharing her knowledge freely with neighborhood children. Though retired from formal teaching, her passion for education burned brighter than ever. As she offered her wisdom without expectation of return, an extraordinary transformation began to unfold. When you align your actions with deeper purpose, you activate the universe's most powerful law of increase. Money in its purest essence flows, not to those who chase it directly, but to those who channel their gifts as in service of something greater. Your wealth grows in proportion to the value you create, and Volve springs naturally from authentic purpose through Lena's dedication to helping young minds blossom. Unexpected doors opened. Parents witnessing the impact of her guidance spread word of her gift. Soon opportunities for paid speaking engagements and curriculum consulting emerged, not because she sought them, but because she followed her heart's calling. The universe operates through spiritual mathematics. When you subtract expectation and add purpose, multiplication occurs naturally. Your talents, when directed towards service, become magnetic to prosperity. This is not about trading time for money, but about allowing your purpose to attract abundance across town. Lived Russell, a man who spent years chasing vague dreams of wealth. He wanted money, yes, but had never clarified why. His unfocused energy attracted equally unfocused results, until one morning he wrote down exactly how his desired wealth would serve others. Suddenly his actions gained direction. His opportunities crystallized, and his income began to reflect his clarity of purpose. Your relationship with money transforms when you give it a mission larger than yourself. Like water flowing downhill, wealth naturally moves toward those who will channel it toward greater good. The key lies not in asking, "How can I get more?" but "How can I serve more fully?" When you align your financial desires with a deeper purpose, you tap into the universe's infinite supply. Money becomes not the goal, but the natural byproduct of your service to others, a divine tool through which you express your highest calling. Just as a river nourishes all it touches while flowing toward the sea, your prosperity grows in proportion to the lives you touch along your journey. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Light a candle if you wish, symbolizing the illumination of purpose. Take 3 deep breaths, centering yourself in this moment of creation. Now write your wealth purpose statement. Begin with the words, "My abundance serves." Let your heart speak through your hand, describing in detail how your financial prosperity will create ripples of positive change. Include both personal dreams and ways your wealth will benefit others. Write until you feel complete, knowing that these words are seeds planted in fertile universal soil. Chapter 17. The voice of the universe is whispering yes. In a small studio, filled with half-finished canvases, Mabel stood before her easel brush, trembling in her hand. Each rejection had carved deeper grooves of doubt in her spirit, until the morning she witnessed the first rays of sunlight transform her latest painting into liquid gold. In that moment, something within her shifted. The universe speaks a singular language, that of vibration. Like responds to like energy. attracts its match, and your inner state becomes your outer reality. When you understand this sacred principle, you realize there is no such thing as rejection, only reflection. For years, Mabel had unconsciously broadcast a frequency of doubt, and the universe, being a perfect mirror, could only respond with experiences that matched that vibration. But as she began to cultivate an unwavering yes within herself, the external world had no choice but to reflect this new resonance. Gallery doors opened, collectors appeared, and opportunities materialized. As if by divine orchestration, the universe never truly denies. It simply matches. Your task is not to convince the world to say yes, but to become a living embodiment of acceptance and allowing. When you vibrate at the frequency of yes, life cannot help but echo your certainty. Consider Arnold, whose desperate need for a bank loan was met with firm rejection. His anxiety had created a wall of resistance that no amount of external effort could penetrate. Yet, when he released his grip on how money must come, when he shifted from pleading to knowing, three separate channels of abundance opened simultaneously. A forgotten investment matured a climb. Ian paid a long overdue invoice, and an unexpected inheritance arrived, all because he had first said yes within himself. Your experience of abundance or lack is not determined by external circumstances, but by your internal dialogue with the universe. Each time you choose faith over fear, certainty over doubt, you tune yourself to the frequency of receiving. Like a radio seeking the clearest signal, your consciousness must align with the vibration of prosperity. When you maintain unwavering trust in the infinite supply that surrounds you, you become a natural conduit for abundance in all its forms. The universe responds not to your words alone, but to the deep conviction that lives in your heart, a knowing that transcends all apparent limitations. Sacred practice. Sit in peaceful contemplation as doubt arises, and it will meet it with gentle but firm conviction. Speak aloud. Yes, it is coming. Yes, I believe. Yes, I can. Let these words become your anchor, your compass, your bridge to the abundance that awaits. Your alignment. This is not mere repetition of words, but a rewiring of your energetic signature. Chapter 18. Divine Compensation. In the quiet hours before dawn, Virgil would arrive at St. Michael's soup kitchen, his weathered hands ready to serve, not for recognition, not for reward, but because his heart guided him there. Each bowl of soup he ladled carried something more than sustenance. It carried pure intention. You must understand the universe records every act of genuine service, like ripples in an infinite pond. Each gesture of unconditional giving creates waves of abundance that must return to their source. This is not wishful thinking. It is cosmic law. When you give without attachment to outcome, you align with the highest frequency of abundance. Your actions become prayers. Your service becomes a sacred ritual. And the universe responds not to what you do, but to the love behind your doing. Virgil never imagined his morning ritual would lead to becoming the community center's director, with resources beyond his previous military pension. The universe had been watching, measuring not his hours, but his heart. In the same way, George's story teaches us about the mysterious mathematics of giving. When her bakery closed, she shared her cherished recipes freely with the community. These recipes, her life's works, found their way to a publisher, Apu, who recognized their worth. What seemed like an ending became a beginning, her generosity returning multiplied. These stories whisper in ancient truth. Authentic giving creates a vacuum that abundance must fill, not because you seek return, but because giving and receiving are one movement in the cosmic dance. You cannot trick this law. By giving to get, the universe responds only to genuine love. In action, when your service flows from a pure heart, When you give, because giving itself is joy, you activate forces beyond your knowing. Like a river that flows naturally to the sea, your giving must emerge from the depths of your being, without calculation or expectation. The ancient masters understood this profound truth: that which is given freely without thought of return carries within it the seeds of infinite abundance. Your role is not to manipulate this sacred law, but to align yourself with its eternal rhythm. The sacred practice for embodying this wisdom is simple yet powerful. Find a quiet moment. Bring to mind one act of service you've performed without seeking reward. Feel the energy of that moment in your heart. Then speak these words with conviction: that energy returns to me tenfold. I received it. Chapter 19. Your inner oracle. In a small telegraph office, where messages traveled across wires like whispers in the wind, Calvin learned to listen, not just with his ears, but with his soul each day. As his fingers tapped out messages in Morse code, he began noticing another kind of signal: subtle impressions that arose from deep within the universe. Speaks in whispers, in gentle nudges that brush against your consciousness, like leaves in a soft breeze. These messages come not through the physical senses, but through the quiet spaces between your thoughts. When you attune yourself to this sacred frequency, guidance flows as naturally as breath. Calvin discovered that when he cleared his mind and opened his heart, insights about investments would arise unbidden, not from analysis or research, but from deeper knowledge. Following these whispers led him to opportunities others overlooked, as though the universe itself was guiding his hand. Your inner guidance system is infinitely more sophisticated than any external source of information. It operates beyond the limitations of time and space, connecting you directly to the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all of creation. Yet, like any instrument, it must be calibrated through regular use and trust. Hazel, a merchant's daughter, felt similar promptings, but allowed doubt to cloud her inner knowing. Time after time, she watched opportunities passed by, opportunities her heart had whispered about, but her mind had dismissed each mischance. Taught her the costly lesson of ignoring her soul's guidance. Only when Hazel finally surrendered to these subtle urgings did her path to prosperity reveal itself. She learned that doubt is nothing more than the ego's attempt to control what the soul already knows. As she released resistance, abundance began flowing through the channels her trust had opened you to. Possess this innate wisdom, a sacred compass that has guided seekers throughout the ages. Every moment, your higher self broadcasts directions to your greatest good, sending whispers of insight through intuition, synchronicities, and the quiet voice within. The only question is, are you listening? Are you willing to still the clamor of everyday thoughts, to hear these divine promptings that illuminate your path to abundance and purpose? Like an ancient beacon calling you home, this wisdom never ceases its gentle guidance, waiting only for your recognition. And trust practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Settle into stillness and place your hand upon your heart. For 5 minutes, breathe deeply and ask with sincere openness, what would aligned action look like today? Let the answer arise, naturally, without forcing or questioning. Trust what comes. Chapter 20. Building your energy bank. In a humble laundry shop at the edge of town, Millie discovered a truth as pure as the linens she pressed each day. While recording her daily earnings in a worn leather book, she began noting something else beside the numbers: her feelings. Joy when the morning sun warmed her face, peace when she smoothed each wrinkle from the fabric, gratitude when customers smiled. Your emotional state is your true currency. Every feeling you cultivate becomes an investment in your energetic field, drawing to you experiences that match its frequency. Just as a bank account grows through consistent deposits, your vibrational wealth expands through conscious emotional choices. When you understand this principle, you realize that worry is a withdrawal. Doubt depletes your reserves, and fear creates energetic debt. But joy compounds, gratitude multiplies peace, pays dividends beyond measure. Millie's energy ledger became more valuable than any financial record. She noticed that on days when she maintained high vibrations, unexpected blessings would appear: a generous tip, a new client, an easier way to complete her work. The universe responded not to her actions alone, but to the energy behind them. Per call, who owned the corner grocery, made a similar discovery. Each morning he would stand in his storeroom and deliberately fill himself with appreciation for his simple shop, for his ability to serve, for the abundance that surrounded him. He stored these feelings like precious inventory. Soon his shop began to prosper without strain. Customers remarked on the peaceful atmosphere, staying longer and buying more. His life transformed not through strategic planning, but through emotional wealth. Your energy creates before your actions do. Every feeling is a seed planted in the field of infinite possibility. By consciously choosing elevated emotions, you establish a vibrational foundation that naturally attracts material abundance. The universe responds first to your inner state, not your outer movements. When you cultivate feelings of gratitude, joy, and expectancy, you align with the very frequency of prosperity, like a magnet drawing forth its match. Your emotional vibration pulls corresponding experiences into your physical reality. This is why two people can perform identical actions, yet achieve vastly different results. Their end states create distinct energetic signatures that shape their manifestations. Practice the sacred energy audit. Take a moment now to open your own energy ledger. On one side, record your emotional deposits, moments of joy, peace, gratitude, and excitement about life. On the other, note your withdrawals, instances of worry, doubt, or scarcity thinking. Watch how your external reality shifts as you maintain a positive energetic balance. Remember, your feelings are your fortune. Heart 3. Becoming the river of gold. Chapter 21. The Master Key of Worthiness. Walter stood before his mill for the last time, watching as the autumn leaves scattered across the empty yard. Twice he had built this business from nothing, and twice it had slipped through his fingers, not from poor decisions or market forces, but from a deeper current that ran beneath his actions. You see, within every soul lies a thermostat of worthiness that governs what we allow ourselves to receive. When this inner setting conflicts with outer abundance, the universe has no choice but to align reality with our deepest beliefs. Walter's skill in milling was unmatched, yet his hidden conviction that he didn't deserve success became a self-fulfilling prophecy. The truth stands: eternal wealth flows not to those who chase it, but to those who believe themselves worthy of its embrace. Grace. Your relationship with money mirrors your relationship with yourself. When you harbor thoughts of unworthiness, they become like rust on the channels through which abundance wishes to flow. Pearl, who ran the local dress shop, lived most of her life making herself small, apologizing for her dreams of expansion. "Who am I?" she would whisper, to want more than this. But one morning, gazing at her reflection among the bolts of finest silk she'd been afraid to purchase, something shifted. She stopped explaining away her desires. She ceased diminishing her vision. In that moment of self-recognition, the universe responded within months. Her small shop transformed into the town's most sought-after boutique. What Pearl discovered, and what Walter had yet to learn, was this: the universe cannot override your own judgment of your worth. It will not force upon you what you believe you don't deserve. Your worthiness is not earned, it is remembered. It was never in question, save by your own thoughts. Look now at your own life. Where have you placed limits on what you deserve? What abundance have you turned away, not through conscious choice, but through unconscious belief? The flow of wealth awaits only your permission to receive like a river seeking the sea. Prosperity moves naturally toward those who stand ready to embrace it. Each time you deny your worth, you build a dam against this divine current. Yet the moment you accept your inherent deservingness, these self-imposed barriers dissolve, allowing abundance to flow freely into every aspect of your existence. Practice the worthiness, alignment. Place your hand over your heart. Feel its steady rhythm, the pulse of life itself, choosing you again and again. With each beat, speak these words with the authority of one who knows their truth. I am worthy of wealth. I am worthy of ease. I am worthy. Now let these words sink into your cells, replacing ancient doubts with timeless truth. Your worth was never earned. It simply is. Chapter 22. Money as a Sacred Service in the heart of a bustling market district. Hank's restaurant stood as a testament to relentless pursuit. From dawn until midnight, he chased every opportunity, stretched every dollar, and pushed himself beyond exhaustion. His establishment was successful by ordinary measures, yet wealth remained elusive, always one more deal, one more expansion away. When his body finally surrendered to the strain forcing him to step back, Hank discovered a truth that had waited patiently in the silence. Money responds to energy, not effort. In his stillness, he began to notice how the universe had been trying to guide him all along, whispering directions he'd been too busy to hear. You see, wealth is not a prey to be hunted, but a force that aligns with your spiritual frequency. When you cease the endless pursuit and instead cultivate an inner state of abundance, money naturally flows toward you. It is drawn to clarity, not desperation, to alignment, not ambition. Lois, who taught dance in the old theater downtown, embodied this principle without realizing it. She never strategizes about profit margins or market reach. Instead, she poured her heart into every movement, every student, every class. Her passion created a magnetic field that drew resources effortlessly. Students multiplied, opportunities emerged, and wealth flowed as naturally as music. Through her studio, both stories illuminate an ageless truth. Money obeys your spiritual clarity, not your struggle. When you release the need to chase and instead command through alignment, the universe responds with abundance. Your power lies not in doing more, but in being more. More aligned mind, more clear, more in tune with your highest expression. Like a flower that blooms without force, your prosperity unfolds naturally when you stand firmly in your truth. The ancient masters knew this secret well. Abundance flows not to those who grasp with clenched fists, but to those who open their arms in perfect trust, knowing that all they seek already exists within the infinite field of possibility. Practice. Take your journal now and write in present tense how money serves your highest life. Speak as if it's already manifesting. My wealth enables me to, my abundance allows me to, through my prosperity. I feel the truth of these words in your body as you write them. This is not an exercise in imagination. It is a declaration to the universe of what is already yours. Chapter 23. The Real Reality of Instant Manifestation. In the mountains where silence draped like fresh snow, Otis tended his small garden without speaking a word. Though he had taken a vow of silence years ago, his inner world rang with crystal clarity each morning. As the sun painted the monastery walls golden, he would sit in meditation and see abundance flowing through his life. He did not yearn or grasp. He simply saw. Within days, his visions began materializing. First came a basket of rare seeds left by an anonymous donor. Then arrived new gardening tools, exactly as he had pictured them. Soon the monastery's storage rooms overflowed with unexpected donations of food and supplies. Time, you must understand, is not the rigid master. You imagine it bends to the purity of your vision and the stillness of your heart when you remove the static of doubt. Worry and attachment manifestation accelerates beyond ordinary understanding. Your desires manifest, not according to calendar days, but according to your emotional clarity. Consider Virginia, who lived in a small cottage by the sea. Each morning, she would walk along the shore, whispering gratitude for gifts not yet seen. She thanked the universe for the spiritual retreat she longed to attend, feeling the peace it would bring. She did not question when or how. She simply gave thanks. After just 3 weeks, a letter arrived. An anonymous benefactor had paid for her to attend the very retreat she had envisioned, including all travel expenses. The speed of this manifestation did not surprise Virginia. She had been living in the end result through her gratitude. What these stories reveal is profound. Miracles are not bound by time or earthly constraints. They emerge at the speed of your belief and the depth of your emotional alignment with the divine force that flows through all things. When you release resistance, maintain pure vision, and stand firmly in unwavering faith, the universe responds with supernatural swiftness. Like water, finding its natural course, your desires flow into manifestation. The moment you remove the barriers of doubt and surrender to the perfect timing of universal wisdom. The practice: take a clean sheet of paper and create your miracle list. Write down 10 desires that light up your soul. As you write, each one feel it as already accomplished. Then, with the full force of your being, speak these sacred words over each desire. It already is. Let these words carry the weight of absolute knowing. For in the realm of pure potential, your miracles already exist. Chapter 24. Letting the universe surprise you. In the heart of the city, Stan sat surrounded by spreadsheets and financial projections. An engineer by trade and nature, he had mapped every possible path to wealth. His calculations were perfect, his plans meticulous, yet abundance remained elusive, slipping through the cracks of his rigid strategy. Then came the layoff, unexpected, unplanned, and completely outside his carefully constructed framework. For the first time in his adult life, Stan had no choice but to release his grip on control. In that space of surrender, something shifted. A former colleague reached out with an opportunity that defied all logic. A partnership in a thriving business that aligned perfectly with his skills. This truth now beckons to you. The universe operates through infinite channels, most of which remain invisible to your careful planning. When you release your grip on the how, you open yourself to possibilities beyond imagination. Your role is not to orchestrate every detail, but to align with the larger symphony already in motion. Estelle's story mirrors this divine paradox. A seamstress who had struggled for years, she had tried every conventional path to expand her business. One morning, while sitting in the park, she simply whispered, "I trust you. Universe, show me the way." Later that day, a stranger, a retiring boutique owner, approached her. Within weeks, Estelle owned a fully equipped shop, gifted by someone who had felt inexplicably guided to pass on their legacy. What appears as coincidence is actually synchronicity in motion. The universe holds a grander vision than your limited perspective can comprehend. Your plans, however detailed, draw from a finite well of possibilities. But when you surrender, you tap into an infinite stream of potential. This is not a call to abandon action, but to release attachment to the form. Your blessings must take. The how is not your domain. It belongs to the infinite intelligence that orchestrates galaxies. Your task is simply to remain open, ready to receive through unexpected doors. Trust that the universe's wisdom far exceeds your limited understanding of what is possible when you release your grip on the specific path you believe must unfold. You allow divine intelligence to work through channels you never imagined existed. Like water, finding its way through unseen cracks to reach the ocean, abundance will flow to you through the most efficient means, often in ways your mind could never have conceived. The practice: choose one area of your financial life where you've been exerting rigid control. Perhaps it's your investment strategy, business plan, or job search. Take a deep breath and say aloud, "I allow the universe to show me a better way." Feel the relief as you release this burden. To a higher wisdom, trust that what unfolds will exceed your careful calculation. Chapter 25. The Wealth Ritual of the Present Moment. In a small factory town, where the rhythms of machinery mark the passing hours, lived a worker named Caleb. Each morning, as he walked to his shift, he would pause to watch the sunrise paint the sky in golden hues. At first, this simple act felt foolish. What good was beauty without wealth? Yet something within him knew better. Your relationship with abundance begins in these smallest moments. When Caleb chose to savor his morning coffee, to smile at the wildflowers pushing through concrete, to feel gratitude for the strength in his hands, he was practicing the art of being wealthy. Now the universe responds not to your future plans, but to your present vibration. Each time you postpone joy, saying "I'll be happy when," or "life will be better," after you push abundance further away, the secret lies in claiming richness. In this very breath, Bernarde, who owned a modest dress shop, spent years telling herself, "Once I have more customers, then I'll celebrate. Once I expand the store, then I'll feel successful." She decorated her future with joy, while leaving her present moment bare, until one day she realized waiting for wealth to feel wealthy was like waiting for rain to plant a garden. She began treating her small shop as if it were the finest boutique in Paris. She placed fresh flowers on the counter, played elegant music, and greeted each customer as royalty. Within months, her energy had transformed. Not just her shop, but her reality. New opportunities flowed in, as if the universe was simply matching her inner state. This truth stands before you. Now wealth is not a destination, but a frequency you tune to in this moment. When you wait for external circumstances to shift, before allowing joy, you reverse the law of creation. First comes the feeling, then the form follows, like a radio, seeking its station. You must align your inner frequency with the abundance you seek. The universe responds not to your desires alone, but to the energy you emanate in each breath, each thought, each moment of being. When you understand this sacred principle, you hold the master key to manifestation, for what you feel deeply within must, by universal law, manifest. Without sacred practice, choose 3 small rituals to honor abundance today. Perhaps you'll light a candle at dawn and feel gratitude for the light of opportunity. Take a mindful walk, blessing each step as if you walk on golden ground. Smile intentionally throughout the day, knowing your joy is a magnet for prosperity. These simple acts, done with presence, become portals through which abundance flows. Chapter 26. The field responds to joy. In a quiet town where shadows linger long after sunset, Eugene discovered a truth as ancient as the song itself. Each morning, as grief weighed heavy on his shoulder, he would open his windows and sing, not to chase away the pain, but to honor it. His voice, carrying across empty rooms that once held love, began to fill them with something new, pure, unbridled joy. You see, joy is not merely an emotion. It is a signal to the universe. When Eugene sang, he wasn't asking for wealth or companionship. He was simply allowing his spirit to soar, unknowingly broadcasting a frequency that abundance could not resist. Within months, neighbors drawn to the music began stopping by. Clients seeking his accounting services appeared as if summoned. Opportunities arose like morning sun through parting clouds. Eugene had stumbled upon a universal truth. Joy attracts life's greatest gifts. The universe responds not to your wants, but to your vibration. When you emit joy, pure, unconditional joy, you align with the highest frequency of receiving. This is not about forcing happiness or denying pain. It is about allowing yourself moments of genuine delight, even amidst life's challenges. Consider Hattie, who lived alone in her small apartment above the bakery. Depression had become her constant companion, until one morning something stirred within her. She turned on an old record and began to dance. No technique, no audience, no purpose, just movement, born of pure joy. Each morning, she continued this ritual, letting her body express what her heart was beginning to remember. Within days, a customer at the bakery mentioned a position at the local theater. They needed someone who understood movement and joy. Hattie, still glowing from her morning dance, found herself hired for a role that seemed crafted for her soul. Your joy is not frivolous, it is the magnet that draws miracles. Like Eugene's songs and Hattie's dances, your moments of pure delight create ripples in the universal field of energy. These ripples return as opportunities, connections, and yes, even material wealth. When you allow yourself to dance, sing, or simply be in a state of unbridled happiness, you align with the highest vibrations of the universe. This alignment opens doors you never knew existed, bringing forth synchronicities that seem almost magical in their perfect timing. The ancient masters understood this profound truth. Joy is not merely an emotion, it is a force of creation itself, capable of transforming your entire reality. Practice schedule 15 minutes today to do something purely for joy. No agenda, no purpose, just joy. Chapter 27. The Sacred Cycle of Creation. In a sunlit studio perched above winding cobblestone streets, Alma stood before her canvas each morning, not with desperate longing, but with sacred patience. She had discovered what you too shall now remember. Manifestation flows in rhythmic cycles. Like the turning of seasons, you see creation is not a forceful act, but a dance of divine timing. Alma learned to paint her desires into being through 4 sacred movements. First, she would visualize with crystal clarity, allowing her mind's eye to capture every detail of what she wished to create. Then she would feel the energy of it, letting emotion infuse her vision with life force. Next came an embodiment, taking inspired action that aligned with her vision finally. And perhaps most crucially, she would release, surrendering to divine timing. This ancient wisdom reveals itself through nature's own patterns, just as a seed requires planting, nurturing growth, and harvest your manifestations. Follow this sacred cycle. When you honor each phase, resistance dissolves and creation becomes effortless. Bert, a carpenter who crafted fine furniture, learned this truth through necessity. For years, he pushed and strained, forcing his will upon life itself. His workshop became a temple of frustration until he observed how wood itself responded to gentle rhythmic attention rather than force. One day, while sanding a table, he noticed how the grain emerged most beautifully when he worked in harmony with its natural pattern. This simple observation transformed his approach to life. He began to flow with opportunity rather than chase it, to trust timing rather than rush it, to allow rather than demand. Within months, his work attracted attention. Naturally, orders flowed in with perfect timing. What he had struggled to achieve through force came easily through flow. Your manifestations, like Alma's paintings and Bert's furniture, require this sacred rhythm. Some days are for visioning, when you must sit quietly and allow your deepest desires to surface in perfect clarity. Other days call for feeling deeply into those visions, letting them stir your emotions until they feel as real as the ground beneath your feet. Still others are meant for inspired action, or for releasing what no longer serves your highest path. When you honor where you are in this divine cycle, trusting the natural ebb and flow of creative energy, your manifestations unfold with grace. Creation becomes both effortless and inevitable. Just as a flower blooms in its appointed season, without strain or struggle. Practice it quietly. Now place your hand upon your heart and ask, where am I in the sacred cycle of creation? Listen for the wisdom that rises. Are you in a phase of visioning, of feeling, of acting, of releasing? Take one aligned step from exactly where you are, trusting that this cycle, like all natural law, serves your highest good. Chapter 28. You are the source. In a humble chapel among ancient oaks, Lloyd stood before his congregation, speaking words that seemed to flow, not from him, but through him. What he discovered that day, and what you shall now understand, speaks to the deepest truth of abundance. You are not separate from the wealth you seek. You are not reaching for something outside yourself. You are the very channel through which abundance flows. This teaching, preserved through ages, reveals that your search ends where it began. Within, Lloyd had spent years teaching others about divine providence, while believing himself somehow excluded from its flow. Until one morning, in the stillness before dawn, he experienced a profound awakening. He was not merely a receiver of abundance, but its very expression and form. From that moment, his life transformed. His congregation grew, offerings increased, and opportunities arose effortlessly, not because he had changed his actions, but because he had remembered his true nature. Consider now the tale of Delilah, who ran a small bookshop in a quiet town for decades. She attributed her success or failure to external forces: the economy, her competitors, even the weather. She believed abundance was a game of chance controlled by forces beyond her reach. Then one autumn evening, while arranging her beloved books, wisdom stirred within her heart. She had been the source all along. Every moment of prosperity in her life had flowed from her own consciousness. Every challenge had been an invitation to reclaim her power. As Delilah embraced this truth, her bookshop became more than a store. It became a testament to her inner abundance made manifest. She stopped waiting for luck to favor her and began expressing wealth through her very being. Her shelves seemed to fill themselves. Customers appeared at perfect moments, and opportunities unfolded with graceful precision. These stories mirror your own journey. You have believed yourself separate from abundance, watching it flow to others, while wondering when it would reach you. Yet, in this moment of recognition, you understand you are not the seeker of abundance. You are abundance itself, taking form. Like Delilah, you too possess this divine power of manifestation, waiting to be awakened within your consciousness. The universe has placed before you countless mirrors, reflecting this truth. Each experience a gentle reminder of your inherent creative force. Now, as you stand at this threshold of understanding, you realize that every perceived limitation was but a veil concealing in the vast wellspring of prosperity that you have always been. Sacred practice. Stand tall, place your hands on your chest, and repeat this: I am the source. The universe expresses wealth through me. Chapter 29. Wealth as a ripple. In the twilight of her career, Nancy sat in her garden, watching neighborhood children discover the art studio she had funded. Their eyes sparkled with the same light she once saw in her own reflection when she first stepped onto a stage. Through her choice to share abundance, she had discovered a truth as old as time itself. Wealth flows where joy grows. You stand now. At this same sacred threshold, money is not meant to pull, but to ripple, touching lives far beyond your own. When you align with this ancient wisdom, abundance multiplies through you, like light through a prism blessing. All it touches, the universe speaks through your desires to serve your wealth. Whether a penny or a fortune, carries the power to transform lives. When guided by love, Nancy understood this. When she opened her heart and her resources to young artists, her financial abundance became a channel for creativity, hope, and possibility to flow into her community. Consider the tale of Clarence, a humble shopkeeper who lived simply but dreamed expansively each month. He set aside a portion of his earnings to build what would become the Oak Valley Community Center. He never saw its completion in his lifetime, yet the ripples of his vision continued to touch lives. Decades later, children learn to read, their elderly gather for companionship, and dreams take root in hearts that might otherwise have withered. What Clarence and Nancy both discovered was, this wealth is not measured by what you accumulate, but by what you set in motion. Your abundance is a living force, seeking expression through acts of service and love. When you allow your prosperity to flow toward what calls your heart, you align with the universe's deepest intention. The expansion of joy through giving. Your legacy is not some distant future event. It is alive in every choice you make today. Each time you allow your abundance, no matter how modest, to bless another, you participate in an eternal dance of giving and receiving. The universe multiplies what you circulate with love. Practice. Take a quiet moment. Now place your hand over your heart and write down one way your current or future wealth can serve others. Begin this sacred ripple today, even in the smallest way. Perhaps it's buying coffee for a stranger, contributing to a cause you believe in, or sharing your knowledge freely. Trust that as you bless others, the universe's abundance flows more freely through you. Chapter 30. The Golden Life. In a Sue-dappled cottage by the sea, Henrietta sits at her writing desk each morning, watching waves dance upon the shore. Years ago, she struggled with rejection letters and empty bank accounts. Yet today, she lives in quiet abundance, not because she pursued wealth, but because she became the very essence of it. You, too, stand at this threshold of transformation. Through these chapters, you have discovered that true wealth flows not from endless striving, but from deep alignment with the universal forces that govern abundance. Henrietta's transformation began the day she stopped seeing herself as separate from abundance. She realized that her morning tea, her gourd blooms, and the sound of birdsong were already expressions of wealth. As she embraced this truth, her writing began to flow effortlessly, and with it came material prosperity. Beyond her previous dreams, consider Franklin, who spent decades chasing what he thought was success. One morning, sharing coffee with an old friend, he felt a profound contentment wash over him. In that simple moment, the warmth of the cup, the gentle laughter, the sunlight streaming through his window, he realized he was already living his golden life. His bank account hadn't changed, but his perception had shifted completely. What Franklin discovered, and what you now understand, is that the golden life isn't measured in dollars and cents. It flows from your ability to recognize and embrace the abundance that surrounds you in each moment. When you align with this truth, external prosperity naturally follows. The ancient wisdom keepers knew this secret wealth is not something you chase, it is something you embody. Like Henrietta and Franklin, you too can choose to live from this place of inner abundance. letting it ripple outward into all aspects of your life. When you understand this profound truth, you begin to recognize that prosperity flows not from external pursuits, but from the fertile soil of your consciousness. The sages of old didn't measure their worth in gold, but in the richness of their inner experience. This same transformative power lies dormant within you, waiting to be awakened through the simple act of acknowledging the abundance that already exists in your world. Practice. Close your eyes, smile, and breathe deeply. Imagine your golden life already here, and whisper, "Thank you. I am ready." If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment conclusion. As you turn these final chapters, know that they are not truly final at all. Like the eternal spiral of creation itself, this wisdom has no end. It simply continues expanding through you. What you hold now is not merely knowledge, but a living transmission of energy that has passed through countless hearts. Before reaching yours, you have walked through the ancient doorways of understanding. You have seen how money flows, not from external sources, but from internal alignment. Through each par in practice, you have remembered what your soul has always known, that abundance is your natural state. The universe speaks in the language of energy, and you are now fluent in its sacred tongue. You understand that every moment offers a choice to vibrate in lack or in abundance, in fear or in faith, in resistance or in flow. These choices create the frequency that determines what flows to you. And through you, remember that you are not separate from the source of all abundance. You are that source expressing itself in human form. When you breathe, the universe breathes with you. When you expand, it expands through you. When you trust, it trustingly delivers. Let every morning be your new beginning. Let every breath refresh your connection to the infinite. The practices within these chapters are not tasks to complete, but gateways to enter again and again. They are your daily bread, your spiritual sustenance, your energetic tune-up. You need not strive or struggle or chase. Simply be still and know you are the magnet. You are the gold. You are the abundance you seek. The universe delights in expressing its abundance through you. It is waiting only for your permission, your alignment, your open arms. Step forward now, not as a seeker, but as a knower, not as one who wants, but as one who is the river of abundance, flows eternally. And you are that river, is one who is the river of the abundance, flows eternally. And you are that river. If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book, which will change your life.